You talked about how in that moment, there's no way you or anyone could have known, what it would become. When did you realize, like, oh, we're on to something special?
I had a moment on set because the energy on set was so pure, and talking to like my cast and Stranger Things, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be a show. But I honestly, like, each season that comes out, it always just takes it to a different level. It keeps surprising me. Even this last season, I'm like, dang, this is actually a real show. Like, I'm like, we like the Beatles for real. This is different.
I was just telling the audience, you at even such a young age have had already a storied career and been in like some amazing projects, but want to go back to the beginning a little bit, right? Sure. Where it all started for you. In doing research and prep for this, I saw that at 10, 11 years old, you were preparing for Broadway already, right? Like,
yes.
At 10, 11, I think I was like playing with worms or so. I don't know what I was.
I was doing the same thing still,
okay,
though.
Okay.
I was doing that.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So how'd you know or realize even at that point that you had a talent for Broadway, and be a passion for it at that age, at 10, 11?
As a kid, I think my parents, it was all because of my parents and just the people I had around me, the support I had. No one never made me feel like the world was real. We live in a real world, whereas, it's a lot of crime, hatred, a lot of people that just, go through, and my parents never put that on me, where I just felt like a superhuman. So the passion was just an authentic, just like Caleb just wanting to live and have fun. And watching The Lion King, I wasn't like, I want to act, I want to sing. I was like, I want to dress up and wear the makeup and the wig that Simba's wearing. Oh, he looks like he's having so much fun. I want to dance on stage, and I want to be famous. I want to dance for the people and be a star. It was like, that looks fun. That looks cool. Then over time, I was like, wait, this is a career path, or this is a craft. Oh, let me study more. Let me be more of a student, not just living in the moment.
You were young Simba in Lion King. Like, that's not a little. Like, can we give him a hand? Like, can we give him a hand for that? Like, that's not a little role, man. Like. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, even when you say that, like, even just being in New York right now, I'm born and raised New Yorker, but yeah, the intensity of being in Lion King, I would say, was more intense than like getting the role of Stranger Things, honestly. Wow. The physical demands that I had to go through in Lion King, like, all right, there was 1 month of rehearsals, so my only day off was Monday. We got up early, worked out, sang. I had to remember like the first act. They were so strict. You laugh. Oh, Caleb, go to the corner. Like, you know what I mean? And like with film, TV, they're like laughing with you. I mean, it depends on like the director you have or whatever. But you're not thinking this is a business. You're thinking, oh, this person doesn't like me. Yeah. It's really mentally straining. You know what I mean? I would say TV and film is more mentally straining than physically, because of the world that like a lot of people know about me and I don't know about them. You know what I mean? A lot of people have an opinion about me or think they know me. So when they meet me and they're talking, or I'm like, not to sound rude, but I never knew you existed until you met me. So I don't know how you're having this whole opinion about me, but you don't know who Caleb is.
Yeah. So let's get into some of that. You transitioned from Broadway to television, right? And it wasn't straight like off the stage to a massive role. What were the early days of like television and some of those early on roles you got?
Yeah, when I was doing Lion King, my first role on like screen, like a professional, like a real like TV show was Law and Order, SVU. I played Boy, and he was he kept asking the cop about like, do you have a gun? I was like, yeah. Do you wear a bulletproof vest? It's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. That was my line. And that was that. And then I had a couple of other like guest starring roles. I was doing a lot of guest starring like New York cop shows. That was my thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was doing that, and then I left Lion King, and then a year later, I got Stranger Things.
So let's talk about that. I mean, Stranger Things, obviously there was no way you could have known back then, what it would turn into today. But let's talk about auditioning for it, and then finding out when you get the call that you got it.
For sure. It actually was called Montauk at first. Yeah, it was called Montauk, so it was a totally different like name, but same concept. And then I got a call back to go into the city to do an audition. I think I did one more audition, but then I was called to go to LA to do a chemistry read. And they told me when I get back that they would call me regardless if I got the part or not. And I was like, oh man, all right, cool. So I'll know. Sometimes, after auditions, they won't call you, and you just never know if you got it. And you know you didn't get it because it'll be a trailer. They'd be like, he got it. Wow. Well, it looks like a good film. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'd rather get the call that I didn't get it or that I did get it. So they gave me a call actually after I was riding bikes with my friends. It was funny. And then they were like, hey, Caleb. They called me on my phone. They was like, hey, man, just wanted to, I'm like, call you and just let you know you're officially Lucas. And I'm like, whoa. And I muted the phone, and my parents were like, what was that? Like, I got it. They're like, yeah. So they was like, yeah, you'll be going to Atlanta, Georgia in like 6 months. And I was like, yes. So that was an exciting moment for me.
That's dope. So you talked about how in that moment, there's no way you or anyone could have known, what it would become. When did you realize, like, oh, we're on to something special?
I had a moment on set because the energy on set was so pure. Everyone got along. The Duffers were on it. Like everyone, from the costume directors to the grips to the guy that was like taking our trash from my school trailer was so dope. He was nice. He was like, yo, what's up, Kayla? How you doing, man? Like, I was like, yo, his energy is good. That means this whole thing's gonna be good because you have to realize filming and TV shows are spiritual. Like, one of my favorite sets, not one of my favorite sets, my favorite set to work on was the New Edition story. Before we started filming, we prayed. Like people think like this is just like, I'm gonna mention something that has nothing to do with it. Does have something to do with this. People always talk about how demonic the industry is. It's not the industry, it's the people. People allow that to happen. If the demonic energy is there, right? It's the people, you know what I mean? But if you have good people that will pray and will bring the energy there, it'll be like forever a classic. You know what I mean? And New Edition is that. Stranger Things is that. So yeah, it's like that's when I knew. I was like, this is gonna be special. Everyone's like, I don't know, but I just feel like I've always had a relationship with God, or even just I was in tune with my just like intuition and just things that people I connect to and my spirituality, and just being in the room and or talking to like my cast and Stranger Things, and I'm like, yo, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be a show. But I honestly, like each season that comes out, it always just takes it to a different level. It keeps surprising me. Even this last season, I'm like, dang, this is actually a real show. Like, I'm like, we like the Beatles for real. This is different.
Transitioning now to the reason we're all here, Shooting Stars.
Yes, Shooting Stars, directed by Chris Robinson.
There he is. Yeah, let's give it up.
And that's the reason why I even said like New Edition was one of my favorite. I'm gonna just say this quick before we get into Shooting Stars, but the reason why New Edition is like one of my favorite films to work on is because of how great Chris Robinson is. He was like, let's pray. You know what I mean? Elijah Kelly led the prayer, but he was like, yo, let's pray. You know what I mean? And he's really good at just working with actors. A lot of directors aren't. They're good at directing a film and telling, the cameraman what angle, this and that, but he knows how to do everything. He knows how to work with his people. He never yells, and if he does, someone ain't doing what they supposed to do. Someone's sleeping under the bleachers or something, you know what I mean? But he's like on it. He knows how to work with actors, non-actors. He knows how to work with his people. He has a good team behind him, and he's like dedicated and devoted. So, yeah, I just have to, give it up to Chris Robinson.
Let's give it up for Chris Robinson. You play Little Drew.
Oh, he's here.
You play.
What's that? That's Mr. Chris. Oh my gosh. Wow. I didn't do this because he was here. You know that, right? That's crazy.
You play Little Drew.
Yes.
All right. How'd the role or the opportunity come to fruition for you?
So actually, a long time ago, when I was 15 years old, I was told about Shooting Stars, and it was being in the development process. I sat down with some of the producers at SpringHill, and they was like, hey, we want you to play Little Drew, but you're kind of small right now. I'm like, dang, isn't he small? But it was like, yeah, you're young, but we haven't written it yet. We'll get back to you. And then like 5 years later, it was like, it's here, like audition, right? I still had to audition, and then I auditioned, did like I think 2 self tapes, and then I went in for the audition, like to like do the basketball test, and then like the like chemistry read as well.
And what's that like? They had you actually hoop?
Oh yeah, I had to really prove myself. They didn't want an actor that could.
We've all
just
seen
act.
that.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't want that. I'm not gonna name the films
Yeah.
that look like that.
We're all
Yeah.
thinking it.
Yeah.
We're
We all
thinking
know.
it.
I don't have to say it. But yeah, it was one of those like, nah, we okay, you can act. That's cool, but you got to know how to hoop.
Yeah.
So they had me around School Henderson, Mookie Cook, and Avery Willis. They all hoop, even a bunch of other guys. But I had to really prove myself. We played 5-on-5. They ran drills. I showed our handles, showed our shooting abilities, all of that. My first time meeting Scoot. He's 19. He's 6'3", just Aki as hell. And but when I first met him though, he was like 17, 18, but I thought he was like 25, right? And I was at the audition. So we're all hooping and stuff, right? And I'm like, yo, this guy's good. I didn't know who School Henderson was at first. And I was like, yo, this guy's good. He should be in the NBA. But he's over there and quiet. I'm Caleb, so I, go to, yo, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? Yo, bro, I see you hooping out there. You should be in the NBA. He's like, I was like, nah, I'm just playing with you, bro.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I was just playing. But even Mookie, he's amazing as well. Just watching him play this young. I'm like, how old are you all? It's like 16, 17. I'm like, why are you 18, 17? Like, why you have so much bass in your voice, bro? So, but nah, yeah, they're good, man.
Your preparation in terms of, if I told you were going to play, Lucas, right? A character that we've made up, right? How's your preparation different when we say, hey, you're going to play Drew Joyce, who's an actual person, right? Mm-hmm. Is there different studying? Do you meet with him? Like, how was your prep to play Drew?
Oh, man, I mean, it definitely took more of a mental approach than someone I could create for myself. It's like a lot of studying, looking at clips, his mannerisms. I low-key just like kind of like really went method, not gonna lie. If you guys see the film and see who Drew was, I was acting like that the whole time. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
When you say method, for the people that may not know.
Okay, method is kind of like, okay, when you're on screen, you see the character, I'm acting, right? When the camera's cut, I was still the same person when I went back to the hotel as well. So like we're rehearsing, right? I'm an actor, the other guys are hoopers. So if I throw a bad pass, they're gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad because we're gonna have 3-4 takes doing it, right? And I was throwing a pass to Mookie. He's like, yo, you need to pass the ball right. Drew came up. That's all I gotta say. So you'll see what Drew's like in the film. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah.
One thing I love to, ask or discuss when I'm sitting across talented people such as yourself is this notion of imposter syndrome. You don't need to be an actor or a celebrity or a pro athlete to sometimes struggle with this. Have you ever struggled with imposter syndrome?
What is that?
Imposter syndrome is when you feel you really don't belong or deserve, or you're almost in over your head, but you don't want anyone else to kind of, realize it, right? So I'll give you a personal example. When I started my career as a marketer in the industry, I'd go to these big meetings at these, big brands and meet with CMOs and CEOs. And in my head, I'd be like, man, I'm just a kid from the Lower East Side. How'd I get in this room, right? And that's imposter syndrome. You feel like maybe you don't belong.
Okay,
right?
I did. Okay, I felt that's what it was. I just didn't want to talk. And he was like, that's not what it was.
Nah.
But yeah, I do feel like that now.
Really, still?
I have moments where I'm just like, not even I shouldn't be here, but I do feel like I don't feel like I fit in sometimes. It's weird. I feel like everyone has that, though.
Wanted to ask, I mean, we've gone through your career from Broadway to, starting on television to Stranger Things to Shooting Stars. Throughout that journey, was there ever an actual meeting that you feel changed your life or changed your trajectory of your career?
I guess Stranger Things for sure. Yeah, I want to say I guess definitely Stranger Things. The day it dropped, next day, like I had 700 followers. Next day I woke up, it was like 10,000. And I was like, whoa, it's starting. And then Netflix reached out to us and was like, you're going to be at the Emmys. you're gonna go to Paris, you're gonna go to London. I was like, oh wow, this is taking it to a different level. Then I remember Robert Downey Jr. posting like something about Stranger Things, and I was like, man, he's watched me, he's seen my face. Then The Rock posted him eating these jumbo cookies, watching Stranger Things, and I'm like, oh wow, this is a trend now. So I think that's when things changed. And then walking down the street, this kid was like, are you Caleb Reginald McLaughlin? I'm like, okay, that's scary, you know? It's like, how do you know my middle name? You know, people still don't even say my middle name. Like, the first person that recognized me said my middle name, which was wild. So that's when my life really changed. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still laughing about it to this day.
You're like, that's strange.
Yeah, that was some Stranger Things right there, yeah.
One thing we always talk about at SpringHill is there's always been this thought of like fake it till you make it, right? Like, and at SpringHill we try to think of the mantra of make it till you make it, right? For us, what that means is, you know, not everyone has a studio at their disposal and a camera crew, any of those things, but it's like make what you can with what you have. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, you know, what does make it till you make it mean to Caleb?
I feel that staying true to your craft, because people will put you down. This movie will show you what you said means. Like, adversity these guys had to face, especially Drew. I have to speak on Drew. Just how the confidence he had to have just to beat the odds, you know? Like, he had to just keep believing in himself. Like, he had to believe in who he was. He had to believe in his craft to be successful. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say you can't do it, and there's going to be a lot of people that says you can do it. It don't matter what either of those people says, even if it's negative or positive. It has to matter what you do, because no one else is going to do it but you. No one's going to wake you up in the morning and tell you, oh, study those lines. Oh, go to the studio and sing. Oh, go to the gym and work out and get big as like Scoot Henderson. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do it on your own. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep believing in your craft.
You know, you've had a ton of success, you know, at a young age. How do you continue to challenge yourself, you know, for things coming up or the things you want to do in your career coming up?
I'm very competitive. So I to really explain it, I'm not competitive with anyone else. I'm really competitive with myself, and like I have to, like, if I did 30 push-ups the last week, I'm gonna try to do 50 the next week. You know what I mean? I always just try to get better.
Like at once,
I'm just that was just like
a lot of
explaining
push-ups.
But you know what? Honestly, I was doing 400 push-ups a day at one time.
Oh wow!
But then my body started hurting a little bit, so I was like, let me stop. I'm an actor. What are you trying to do? You know what I mean? But no, and then one time we were talking about working out. I was working out like 2 times a week for a month, and I was like, what are you doing? You are not an athlete. You are an actor.
You are not Scoot Henderson.
I was trying to be like Scoot. But yeah, I mean, even just doing stuff like that, really, like, you know, studying, being a student is very important. Like, people always say being a student, but like, learn from everybody. Write it down. What you learn, like, write it down. Oh, wow, that's good information. No, take out a notebook. Bring a pad with you. I just sat down with Corday. You know who Corday is, guys? He is a genius, bro. Take out your book and write it down. Everything. Anything that sticks out to you. It don't matter what it is.
I love it. Last question, man. What can we expect or look forward to from Caleb in the future, whether near or long term?
Shooting Stars, of course, June 2nd. Peacock, only on Peacock. I have a couple other films coming out this year. One called The Deliverance, another one called Book of Clarence. So, I mean, I feel like all these characters that I play are a piece of me. So you'll just get a different side of Caleb this year.
Dope.
Yeah.
It's been amazing to see your journey from young Simba to little Drew to Caleb the artist. Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb McLaughlin.
Thank you, guys. Yes, sir.